Okay, so welcome back to the channel, and we're continuing with building the Web Dynpro component for the leaf management system. And of course, we have created all the methods and we've also tested with some reports. And now in this part of the series of the video, we are going to create the Web Dynpro component. So the Web Dynpro component adds more graphical user interface to the interaction. So I'm going to show you how to create the Web Dynpro. Of course, Dynpro means dynamic programming. So I'm going to show you how to create the Web Dynpro in just a few steps. I'll be giving you all the steps and then we'll do it in the SAP GUI. So the first step is to create the Web Dynpro component. We use the transaction code SE80. So now in the step 2, we're going to define the component structure, and the component should have what we call the component controller. And there's going to be, for the views, you have the main view, which will be for navigation. So on the main view, there will be a view also to apply for leaf. That's the apply view. And there will also be an approve view, approve leaf. There will also be approve view, which is the approve leaf for manager to approve requests. Now that all the views are created and embedded, we are going to the third step. So the third step is to create the views inside the component. So the main view will have links to navigate to the apply for leaf page, and also we have link to the manager approval page, and also the apply leave. This is the view where employees can submit their leave request, and also the approve leave. There's a view where the managers will approve the request. Okay, so this is what we are going to create next. Okay, so the navigation plug will do the following. From the main view, we are going to navigate to the apply leaf view. From the main view, we can also navigate to the approve leaf. So you are on the main view, you move from main view to apply leaf view. The apply leaf view, you're going to give it a plug name called to apply. And then also from the main view, you can navigate to the approve leaf view where the managers needs to approve the leaf requests. And then the plug name is going to be to app. So you are doing great so far. And then we are doing step 4. So the step 4 is to design the main view. So we're going to open the main view layout. We're going to be adding buttons and we're going to be designing the layout. Okay, now so let's click on apply for leave and then enter E0, let's say 29, and then the type of the leave, emergency leave. Let's click pick a date, a start date, pick an end date, then click submit. Now you get this message, leave request submitted successfully for employee E029. Subsequently, we'll also write the code so that the inputs will be cleared after this. And of course, if you are new, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Okay, so let's get started. So we can go over to SE transaction code SE80. So now this is my package that I created already. If you don't know how to create a package, leave a comment in the comment section. So here from the drop down, we're going to select the Web Dynpro component. Okay. So when we select this, you can give the name of the component that you want to call. So we are building a leaf management application. So let's give it a name. For example, we can call this, let's say ZZWD as Web Dynpro underscore leaf underscore management underscore 25. Okay, then hit on enter. It said this object does not exist. So do we want to create the object? Click on yes. So when we click on yes, we need to give it a description. So the description, we are going to give this leaf management system or application. Yeah, we can choose to continue. I'm going to save it to my package, which is the leaf management package. Then click on save. Victor leaf management app. Okay, this is my transport request. Confirm this. So the initial component structure that we can see here is that we have a component controller, we have the views, and we have the windows. Okay, of course, and a placeholder interface, this one. Now we can then move further to define the component structure. So now in the step 2, we're going to define the component structure, and the component should have what we call the component controller, and there's going to be, for the views, you have the main view, which will be for navigation. So on the main view, there will be a view also to apply for leaf, that's the apply view, and there will also be an approve view, approve leaf. There will also be approve view, which is the approve leaf for manager to approve requests. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to create the 3 views that we need, which is the main view, the apply leaf, and the approve leaf. So each view must be embedded into the main window. Okay, so let's create the main view. So you can right click on views and then click on create. Give it a name and a description. So we can enter the name here, main. Let's say main view underscore 25. And then the description will be main navigation view. Confirm this. Okay, so if you extend this, yeah, you need to do Ctrl save for it to refresh. Okay, yeah, then you can, yeah, just save it, and then we can see the main view here. Right now we'll then move further to create the apply leaf view. So the same way, right click on the views. So if you want to create views, just right click on views and give it a name. So the name will be apply leaf. So this will be where the employee will create the leaf request. Yeah, let's say underscore 25, just some unique ID, and give it a description. You can say leaf application view. So confirm this. So if you Ctrl S, okay, we need to hit on enter first, then save. Yeah, so the apply leaf underscore 25 is there. Hit on enter and then click on Ctrl S or save. Then we need to also create the view for the approve leaf view. So this is where the manager will go to approve the view, the request rather. So right click here, create, and we give it a name. Let's say approve underscore 25. So what will be the description? Manager approval view. So confirm. So hit on enter, then do a Ctrl save. Yeah, so the approve leaf also is here, and then we can embed the views into the main window. So actually we can bring this here this way. Okay, so we already have a main view, so we can delete this. Yeah, we can delete that. Okay, so we need to embed. So to embed, let's expand this windows and then double click on this. So let's expand this. Yeah, so to embed, you just drag these views here into the window. Let's see, you drag it here. See that the apply leaf is there. Click on this, drag it to the main window here, and then finally we drag the main view. Okay, so we can delete this main usage, delete this. Okay, so we have now embedded all the views into the window, and this will allow you to create navigation plugs between them. So navigation plugs simply means that when you are on the main window and you click on the button to apply for leaf, it will take you to the apply for leaf view page, and vice versa. You can go back, you can go forth and back. Okay, so the navigation with Web Dynpro does not work with the browser navigation. So you have to create the navigation links using the plugs. So let's see how this is done. Now that all the views are created and embedded, we are going to the third step. So the third step is to create the views inside the component. So the main view will have links to navigate to the apply for leaf page, and also we'll have link to the manager approval page, and also the apply leaf. This is the view where employees can submit their leave requests, and also the approve leave. There's a view where the managers will approve the request. Okay, so this is what we are going to create next. If you get stuck, if you have questions, please leave it in the comment section. Okay, so let's proceed now to create the navigation plugs. Okay, so the navigation plug will do the following. From the main view, we are going to navigate to the apply leaf view. From the main view, we can also navigate to the approve leaf. So you are on the main view, you move from main view to apply leaf view. The apply leaf view, you're going to give it a plug name called to apply. And then also from the main view, you can navigate to the approve leave view where the managers needs to approve the leave requests. And then the plug name is going to be to approve. Of course, I'm going to give unique IDs to this. All right, so let's go to main view. So double click on main view. Okay, before then we need to save whatever we did. So this is the main view. So from main view, we want to navigate to the apply leave view, and this is called outbound plugs. Okay, so that means from main view, you are moving to another view. So you need to add the plug name here. So the plug name is going to be, go to apply leave, apply underscore leave. So I'll give a unique ID underscore 25. And what is going to be, we can say navigate to apply view. Another plug name from the main view, we can go to approve view. So approve leave underscore 25. And then we can say navigate to approve view. All right. So Control S, save this. And then we need to create outbound. Yeah. So this is what I just did. We have created the outbound plugs. So then we need to create inbound plugs. So inbound plugs means that from another view, you can come inside the main view. So we are in the main view, right? So from another view, you can come inside the main view using these plugs. So let's give it the name. So we expect inbound plugs from the approve leave page and the apply leave page of view. Okay. So let's go to apply leave. Double click here. So we are in the apply leave view for the inbound. So inbound, this is coming from the main view. So this is called inbound. So the outbound from the main view becomes inbound in the apply view. I hope you get it. Okay. So we can just say from main. Yeah. Okay. We can just say from main and then from main navigation. So the only inbound that is coming, the only navigation we get to the apply leave is from the main view. So let's say from main view. Okay. So let's click on save. Then we can also go to approve leave. Let me copy this. Can also go to the approve leave, right? Then go to the inbound plugs and say from main view also. So this is from main view navigation. Okay. So click on enter, Control S and save this. So the approve leave is saved. Now we need to go to the window and then create the links, the navigation links in the window. So you could see the plugs that we created embedded already. So you see the apply leave 25 view. So it's getting inbound from the main view. The approve leave 25 is getting inbound plug from the main view. And for the main view, we have two outbound plugs, which is the apply leave 25 and approve leave 25. So what this means is that when you are in the main view, you can navigate to two views. And when you are in the approve view gets navigation links from the main view. Apply leave gets navigation from the main view. Okay, I hope it's not confusing, right? It's not confusing. So if you are confused, just listen to it again and look at the diagram. It will make sense. Of course, we can set this main as default. Just right click and say set as default. So main view has been set as default. Yeah. So when we extend this, we need to create navigation links in the window. So extend this, right click on the leave apply and then select create navigation link. Okay. So the start view is the main view and the outbound plug is apply leave. So the destination view, remember we're in the main view, so the destination view will be what? The apply leave. So we are moving from the main view to the apply leave. So let's see apply leave, this one, and then automatically it filled the inbound plug to be from main view. Okay, so let's confirm this. So navigation link was created and then do the same thing for the second link. So right click, create navigation link. So remember, we are aware this is the main view. So we are in the main view and then there's, let's say, a button that will take you to the approve leave. So what's our destination? Our destination is what? The approve leave. So destination view will be approve leaf. So this is approve leaf, confirm this, and automatically the inbound plug will be from main view. So we are going to approve leaf, which is the destination, and from where? From the main view. Okay, so once that is done, let's just Ctrl S and save whatever we have done so far. So our navigation links has now been created. So let's go to step 4. Step number 4. If you have followed so far, you are doing great. So keep patient and watch to the very end and see what happens. Okay, so we have about 8 steps to go. So you are halfway there. All right, so you are doing great so far, and then we are doing step 4. So the step 4 is to design the main view. So we're going to open the main view layout. We're going to be adding buttons, and we're going to be designing the layout. Okay, so let's get started. So the main view, double click on the main view. So this is your layout. This is layout right here. And this is your canvas that you will be designing the UI. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is to add UI elements. But then I want to add an image. I want to add an image to the UI, which I already created. So to do that, let's right click. Oh, I could add the image later. Let's go on with the real stuff first. Okay, so now let's add the buttons. This is the main view. We need button for apply leaf, and then button for the manager approval. So to add the buttons, you could right click here and say insert element. So here we can give it an ID. We can say button apply. I'll give it a unique ID. Let's call 25. And then you select button from here. Okay, the type is button and confirm. So here you can go to the properties section and we can add the text, look for text. And what we want to show on the button, we can say apply for leaf. Okay, hit on the enter button, Ctrl save, and then your button is out here. You can see apply for leaf right here. And let's add the second button. Of course, we could change the flow layout to be matrix, but let's add the second button and then see how the behavior of the layout happens with different types of layout. So let's right click one more time, insert element, and then we can add the button to approve, button underscore approve underscore 25, a unique ID for myself, and select button from the drop down list, confirm this, and we need to add the text. And what should be our text? Let's say manager approvals, or we can just say approve leaf, right? Click on enter, Ctrl save, and then you see it right here. So if you right click on the container, you see the flow layout is the layout is flow layout. Okay, so the matrix layout, will give it some space. Yeah, let's use the matrix layout. Okay, all right. So if you need more space, you can add more space to this, but this should be okay for now. So now we need to create actions for the button. So when the button is pressed, an action is supposed to happen. So we go to the actions tab of the main view. So we're in the main view and this is the actions tab. Okay, so we need to create actions for the buttons. So the first action is to navigate to the apply leaf page. So we can call the name nav, that's navigate underscore to apply. Let me put the unique ID as long as the length permits. So I'll give it a description and say navigate to apply leaf view. So this is the action. So when someone clicks on the apply leaf button, it navigates to the apply leaf view, then which will be triggered by the button, of course. Save this, click on enter. Yep. So another navigation that will happen on another action is the navigate to, let's say, approve underscore 25. So let's call this navigate to approve leaf view, right? Hit on enter and then Ctrl save. Okay, so now we need to implement the method for these actions. Okay, that's what we are going to do now. So we can go to the methods tab here of the main view. So you could see in the method on action nav to apply, on action nav to approve. So we need to implement the method. So you just double click on this. So it gives you access to the method signature. So you can see right below here you can enter the code. And so we're going to enter this code, webdyne this fire to apply plug, and just control save. So this is what is going to be the action that will be performed when the button is pressed. Then likewise, we can go back a little, go to the approve, double click on this, get the method signature. Okay, so we'll enter the method here. So fire to approve plug, control S. Just save this. Remember, I've not yet activated any of the objects, because if you have to activate without filling some of the properties and the fields, then you're going to get syntax errors or inconsistencies. All right, so now we can activate now actually. So let's check Control F2. So, we got some errors here. So it says the methods are unknown or protected. Yeah, okay. The error could be from this name. Yeah, so not just to apply. Yeah, so let me copy this. Let's go to the methods one more time to apply. Let's replace this right here. Save and check. Yeah, so one is gone. I left with one. Yeah, so the plug you called has to have the same name with what we defined. Okay, so the second plug name is approve leaf 25. Copy this. Go to the methods. Yeah, go to the action and then double click on that. So let's change this one, approve leaf, Control S, so you can see very well. Okay, so let's do syntax check one more time, Control F2. Yeah, so now there is no errors found. So the plug names, so apply leaf underscore 25. So when we want to define the methods, we fire that plug. So we wd underscore this, fire underscore the name of the outbound plug underscore plg. Okay, so if this is different, you get the errors that we got earlier. Okay, so we're going to pause here for now, and we are going to continue later. And in the next segment, we are going to create the apply, or we're going to design the apply leaf view page, where the user can enter employee ID, the type of the leave, the start date, the end date, and the reason for the leave, the submit button. Of course, all this will be covered in the next video. Yeah, I think this is a good place to pause, take some water, breathe in. And then in the next video, we are going to look at how to design the apply leaf view. So this is the view where the user will enter the employee ID, the leave type, the start date, the end date, the type, and then of course the submit button. So see you in the next video. Take some break and come back and continue. Okay, so welcome back to the continuation of the Web Dynpro application that we are building. And so in this part, we are going to create the apply for leaf view, and this view is going to have input fields like the employee ID, the leaf ID or the leaf type, the start date, the end date, and the reason for the application. And of course, before we go into designing the user interface for this application, we are going to look at what is called a context. Now, the context is the data model of your view or a component. So if you don't know what this means, don't worry. We are going to do it practically. So you learn by doing. So most times when you are new into programming, there are a lot of things you do not really understand. And so what you do is learn by doing. So the more you do it, the more you understand what this means. So think of the context like a memory structure, and this memory structure is similar to the internal tables or the structures that you already know in ABAP, I assume. And this holds the data of the UI, and this holds the data the UI element will display, change, or use. This means that when you add input fields, they must bind to context attributes. For example, when the user types into the UI, the data is stored in the bound context. So when you submit the form, for example, you read that data from the context and pass it into the global class. So this is what we're going to be doing, and let's quickly go into the SAP GUI and let's create the context for the apply leaf view. Okay, so when you are in the SAP Easy Access, we can go to SEAG. So this takes us to the object navigator. So this is the package that I've created for this project. And right here, we see the Web Dynpro object name. And this is the components that we have here. And what do we want to create? We want to create the apply leaf view. So let's open the views. And right here is the apply leaf view that we created in the previous section. So we can double click on this and then head over to the context. You can see right here the context button here. Yeah, so the context button is right here. Let's click on this. Of course, you have to ensure that you are in the edit mode. So click on this button right here. And then the next thing you're going to do is to right click on the context to create a new node. Okay, so create new node. We give a name for the node. We select the dictionary structure. We select the cardinality. So the reason for creating a context is that we want to store the employee ID that will be entered on the UI. We want to store the leaf type. We want to store the start date, and we want to store the end date and also the reason. So when the employee enters these attributes on the UI, it is stored in the context, which is now sent to the global class for processing. Okay, now let's give this node a name. We can call it leaf requests. Okay, then we are going to select the dictionary type. We already created a table called the leaf request table. So if you don't know how to create this table, watch the previous video on the full ABAP program where we designed a leaf management system without the Web Dynpro. So you can visit that video and have a look, or you can actually even leave a comment in the comment section and I can also tell you how to quickly create that. Or you can see one of the videos of ABAP dictionary. Okay, so let's look for the table here. The table is actually in this package. Let me return 10 hits. So the leaf request is right here. Let's use a 24. Okay, so cardinality, we select a one-to-one relationship. Yeah, for selection, select 0 to 1. For initial lead selection, select yes. So for this cardinality means 1 to 1. It means that only one leaf request is being created at a time. So let's confirm this. I'll continue. Okay, so the node has been created. The leaf request node has been created. Now we need to create the UI field. So let's head over to the layout. We go to the layout tab. Right here we have the layout tab. Then we can see the root UI element container right here. So we can right click on this to insert the labels and fields. So when you right click on this, insert element, what is going to be the ID? We want to insert the employee ID. Okay. So now the ID is going to be, so let's label employee ID. The type is going to be a label. Okay. So we're going to give a text to this label. So we head over to the property and scroll down to text. So the text here is going to be employee ID. And we need to give this label 4. Okay. So let's right click on this one more time. Insert element. We'll call it employee ID input. So we select this input field and then we confirm. So this input field is tagged to the employee ID. So let's go to this label, and then this label 4 will now be attached to this employee ID input. So employee ID input, okay. Okay, now so we've created the label employee ID, and we've created the input field, which is the employee ID input field. So the next thing we need to do now is to bind the value that the user inputs in this input field to the context attribute employee ID. But in the previous video, we did not activate or attach the attribute. So what we are going to do is simple. We go to the context, okay, and then right click on the node for the leave request. Let's right click right here. We are going to create all the attributes. So the employee ID, the start date, the leave end date, the reason. So we are going to import this from our already created structure. Click on attributes from component or structure. And then we enter the leave request structure name here. Confirm this. And right here, we are going to select the attributes that are of interest to us. The employee ID attributes, the start date, the end date, the leave type, the status, request date. Do we need that? Okay, let's just add as much as possible. I will also add required ID. Let's see if we need it. So confirm this. So 8 attributes have been added to the node leave request. So if we expand this, we could see all the attributes, right? Now let's save this, Ctrl S. So let's go back to the layout one more time and click on the input field. So the value part, right click here, mandatory binding is missing. So now what are we going to select? We need to bind this to the employee ID, which is this one. So confirm here. So you see that this has been binded. So when you enter the employee ID, it's saved, it's bounded to the context, and then it is sent to the global class. Okay, now let's save this. Employee ID has been finalized. Okay, so we move over to the type of leave request, and we just repeat the same thing. We create the label, create the input field. So let's do that. Go right over here, right click. We could also change the layout to matrix form, matrix layout. So when you go to layout, right click on, and then you select matrix layout. So let's save this. So we want to create the other input fields for the user. Right click on this, insert element. So the element we want to insert is the leave type label, So then the type, we select label. Confirm this. So if you want this to go below, you select matrix head data. So let's give it a text. So the text to be leave type. So for label 4, we need to create the input field for this. So right click on the container, then click on insert element. So what's going to be the ID? So that will be leave type input. Then we select input field from the drop down menu, input field. Confirm this. Okay, now we need to map the leave type to the context attribute And so go to the property, select the value. So here we select leaf type. You could see the attribute here. So confirm this, and then we can save. So repeat the same procedure for the others. Let's do this. Okay, one more thing we need to select the label for. So we need to, the label leaf type is for what? Is for leaf type input field. And so you see the difference if you had not linked them together. You see that the text is kind of faint. So after creating the label for, and I do Control Save, it's now activated. Okay, so we do the same thing for the start date and the end date. Create a label, create an input field, and then bind to context. Start date label. The type will be input field. Confirm this. So if you want the, okay, I needed to create a label and I ended up selecting input field. So we can edit this. So right click and you can say swap element definition. So instead of label, yeah, I need to select label here. So label, this is a label. And you see, so if we want the label to go below, what do? We select, this is a matrix head data. So this will go beneath, and the label, the text will be the start date. So start date, yeah, that's the text. So for us to impute the label for, then we need to create input field for the start date. What do? Right click right here, insert element. So start date input, and then we select input field from the drop down list. Confirm this. So we have this, and we need to do two more things. First, we need to bind the label to the input field. So we go to the label here, scroll down to label 4, select start date input to bind the label to the input start date, and then we can save this. So one more thing we need to do is to bind the input field to the context attribute for start date. So select the input field for start date, and then scroll down to the property section, look for value, click on this button right here, then select start date from here. Confirm this, and we are good to go. Control save. We save this, and then do the same thing for end date. So I will just skip. You can do this for practice purpose, right? So now there's one more thing we need to correct, because if we look at the leaf request table, if I open another graphical user interface, go to XE11, and I view the leaf request table display, and if we see the leaf type, we'll double click on this. The domain is leaf type, and we could see the value here: sick leave, annual leave, emergency leave. So what we need is a drop down for the user to select from. Okay, so that means we need to change the leaf type here from being an input field to being a drop down field. So let's right click right here and say swap element definition. So for the leaf type input label, or for the leaf type input, we are going to use a drop down menu for this. Okay, so drop down by key. So let's confirm this, and then we can go to the properties for the leaf type input. The label is for Anyway, let's first bind the selected key to the leaf type. This one right here, confirm this. Okay, let's save this. Okay, so we need to go to the context attribute for the leaf type. Double click on this. Okay, now that we have created the drop down by key, so you could ensure that the keys will be, so the keys used will get its values from the structure that we already created. So when you click on context and then you double click on the leaf type, you have to scroll down to see. You see here the property. Okay, so if you check right here, you see input help mode automatic. So let it be in automatic mode. So when the user selects annual, it will automatically select the annual leaf type. All right, let's proceed. So with this, we can save. Yeah, with this, you can do a control save to save. And then let's create the submit button logic. Okay, so how is it going so far? No errors? Okay, you're doing great. So the next thing we need to do is to create the submit button logic. And so we need to create the submit button request action. We need to write the ABAP code to read data from the context node leaf request. Then we call the global class and then submit the request. We're also going to show success or error message. So if you have been following so far, you are doing great. So let's head over and continue. So the first thing we need to do is to create the button, of course. We need to create the button action. So to create the button actions, you go to the tab actions, which is right here. And then this is in display mode. You can click on this button right here to change to edit mode. Now we give it a name, the name for the action. So this is going to be called submit request action. Give it a short description, submit leaf request. That's a short description. And then let's save this. This is saved. So you can see here, it will automatically create a method called on submit request. Okay, so this is where we're going to create the code, and we double click on this. Before then, I will want to create the button first. Okay, so let's head over to the layout, and we need a submit button. So you can do this by just right clicking on the main container, insert element, and we'll say submit button. From the drop down, select button, confirm this. This should go down. So select matrix header data. Okay. If you do a Control S, it comes down. Then we scroll down the property. The text should be submit. Yep. So let's Control S. You save this. Yeah. So because we need to bind it to an action, that's why we started by creating an action. Okay. So we created the submit requests action. And if you go to the methods, you are going to have the on submit action request. So right here is where we created the code for the on submit request action. So made some data declarations here. Then the first thing is to read from the context. Okay, so we are exporting the employee ID, the leave type, and then the start date. And then we are importing leave requests. I'm importing ls leave requests, employee ID, ls request leave type, ls request start date. So these are the parameters that you need to define. And then to process the leave requests, we use the BAPI function module, call the create requests method from the global class. And these are the exporting parameters. And then at the end, some error handling messages. Okay, so let's control save this. Of course, if you need the code, leave a comment in the comment section and it will be sent to you. So control F2, no error found. Okay, so let's activate. Yeah, so these are all the things that we've created so far, and now it is time to activate. So we can select all. Right here, you can select all the objects to activate. And so confirm here. Yeah, so object activated. So a quick recap is that we have the main view with two buttons, which is for apply for leave, and then the other button is to approve leave, which is right here. If we double click on the main view, you could see that we have apply for leave button, and then we have for approve leave button. Okay, and then when you click on this apply for leave button, you have outbound plugs that takes us to apply leave page. Okay, and then from the main view we also have outbound plugs that take us to the approve leave view. So far we have created the apply leave view. So if you double click on the apply leave view, so let's double click on the apply leave view. We have, this is the apply leave view. We have created the UI fields, employee ID, the leave type, the start date and the end date, and also a submit button. So we need to bind this submit button to the action, which is what we are here to do. So then we created the actions, submit request action, and then we created the method. If you double click on this on submit request, we see the code that we wrote for the user to be able to submit their request, right? Okay, now let's go back to the layout, and this is the submit button. We need to bind this submit button to the action. Now, when you want to bind the submit button to the action, so scroll down to the on action and click on this right here and select submit request. So we control S and we save this. So the submit button is now connected to the create request method or create request action. So this is what we have covered so far, and now we need to test this end to end. Okay, so to do this we need to create a Web Dynpro application. Okay, so what we need to do is we go to our Web Dynpro component, right click on this and then go to create, scroll down to Web Dynpro application, and we can give it a name. So let's give it this name, SAP Leaf Management. Should we use, yeah, SAP Leaf Management. Give it a description. Yeah, let me just add underscore 25. Confirm this. All right, now the object will be created in the original language. And so you see here we get a URL link. So we can copy this URL link, Control All, and open it on your browser to view the Web Dynpro application. So let's paste this right here. Of course, I need to log in with my credentials. Okay, this does not exist. Okay, I needed to save it and activate. Let's save this. Okay, this is saved and we have this Web Dynpro applications. Okay, yeah, so let's see, F8 to execute. Okay, so we can click on F8 to execute and then click on allow. Oh, voila. Then right here we have the leave request app. You could see the two buttons here, apply for leave and approve leave. And let's click apply for leave. So this button is not yet working. And why is that? So let's go back and check. Okay, so this is just testing the create leaf page. So let's see, employee ID E020, type of the leaf, it's an annual leave. Let's select the start date from tomorrow, end date to 31st, and submit. So do we get anything? Submit button. All right, let's check the ABAP dictionary if E20 was actually created and maybe the message box is not working. So let's head over to SC11, create a new GUI window. Let's check the request table. Employee E20 is already created. So let's look at the contents of the table. Yeah, so you see, we clicked on submit twice and you could see E20 was submitted twice. So, all right. So we see that the create request is working, and we need to fix the main view. Okay. We need to fix the main view. I was able to view the apply leaf page because I used it as the default page. So if we click on main view, set as default page, we save this. Okay, so let's quickly fix the navigation links that were not working for the main view. So the issue was actually we needed to bind the on actions. So for the apply for leave, you click right here. So when we click apply for leave, we expect it to navigate to the apply for leave view page. So you select that. Okay, we need to be in edit mode. So let's scroll down, click on apply for leave. Scroll down right here and then select navigate to apply. Then save. You see now that the text is highlighted. And then do likewise for approve leave. Of course, we do not yet have a view for approve leave. So select this, click on the action for navigate to approve, then control save. So let's check for syntax, control F2, no errors found. Then control F3, we activate. So let's go to the window and ensure that the main view is the default view. So double click on the windows, expand this. This is the main view. So when you right click on it, it is set as default view already. Now we already created the Web Dynpro application that we will use to test our program. So open the Web Dynpro application, double click on this. So from here you can click on execute, or you could copy the URL link here. So let me just click on execute here. Of course, allow. So I need to log in with my credentials. So you see now, apply for leave, approve leave. So when we click on apply for leave, we expect to go to the apply for leave view page. And here you have it, employee ID, leave type, start date, end date, submit. So if I create another employee ID, let's see, E21, E021, what type of leave? Sick leave, select the date, today to next week. Okay, so if you click on submit, this is actually submitted and the table has been populated, but we need the message for the user. We need the message, the success message or the error message to be displayed to the user. This we'll look at in the next video. Now let's check that table because the message, the success messages are not yet activated for some reason. So let's check for E021. He applied for sick leave. Okay, let's check it from our table. We can go to, let me open a new GUI. So that will be backslash, no backslash, SE11. Open the request table, display, and then click on contents, then click on execute. So is 21. So you could see here it was created. Okay, and type of leave, sick leave. These are the start date, this is the end date, and there you have it. So we need to also add this request date. So whenever the manager approves it, this will change, and then depending, the status will also change. Okay, so there we have it, and see you in the next video. If you have not subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So far I've created the apply for leave page. So this is the main page where the user can click apply for leave. When the user clicks on apply for leave, it takes the user to the apply for leave page, where the user can enter the employee ID, the leave type. If you click on the drop down menu, you see the leave type, annual leave, sick leave, emergency leave, then submit. So when the user submits, it is very important for the message to be displayed to the user, either as a success message or error messages. So with this, we need the message assistance class to display text to the user. And so an assistance class is a global ABAP class that is linked to your Web Dynpro component. And the main job is to provide texts, constants, or helper methods. So this is used for formatting, validation, or for lookup. So we're going to implement this in this project. And the most common use is to store texts or elements so that you don't need to hard code strings inside the views. So this is what the assistance class is all about. And to do this, we are going to the SAP GUI. So we can use the class builder to create this /n SE24. So I want to create the assistance class. Okay, so let's just give it this name, assistance class, and then let's click on create. So you select class and then confirm this. Now you give it a description. So let's say leave management system assistance class. Okay, so leave everything the way it is. It's a usual ABAP class. So save this, and here the methods are empty, so we need to add the interface, which is the Web Dynpro component assistance interface. So we need this interface to inherit some properties that will enable the text and symbols to be displayed. And that interface is called the WD component assistance. So let's go to the interface tab. So this is the interface tab right here. And then, so we need to add that interface, add it right here. This is the IFWD component underscore assistance. So let's save this, Ctrl S, and let's activate, Ctrl F3, object activated. Then what we need to do now is to assign this class that we just created. We need to assign this class that we just created to the Web Dynpro component that we are using. So let's go back. We need to go to the object navigatory. So we go to the Web Dynpro and expand the components tab. So this is our Web Dynpro component that we are working with, and we need to implement the assistance class. So double click right here and let's put it in edit mode. So now if you double click right on the component, you see that this is the assistance class. So just paste the name of the assistance class that you just created right here. Okay, then we can save this. We activated it. Okay, this is the name of the assistance class. So now we double click on this. So go to here, then text elements, go to the edit mode, and then we enter the symbol. So let's say for 001. So what's going to be our text element, the text description, and that will be leave request submitted for employee. And then This and one means that this is a placeholder so that the ID will be displayed to the user. And then let's just say 002 will be an error message that will be displayed. So error while submitting request, maybe some error happened. Then let's Control save, Control F2, syntax check. Then let's activate this, Control F3. So this is activated. And now you need to just update the code of your the view that you want this to be implemented. So this is the, let me go to full screen. So this is the code right here. And so in the success message part, you're going to add the key 001. Okay, so it's going to print out the success message, and then 002 is an error message. So let's Control save this and let's activate this. So everything is activated. So let's go test the Web Dynpro app. Okay, now so let's click on apply for leave and then enter E0, let's say 29, and then the type of the leave, emergency leave. Let's click pick a date, a start date, pick an end date, then click submit. Now you get this message, leave request submitted successfully for employee E029. Subsequently, we'll also write the code so that the inputs will be cleared after this. And okay, so this is how to implement the message assistance class. See you in the next video. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.